What is up, Internet? Welcome to the very first episode of the We Are Different podcast. My co-host isn't here today. He was unable to make it, and I'm very depressed about it because I have to be alone today. But without further ado, without my co-host, and for the first time ever, let's roll the intro. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to cover is why am I making a podcast? I'm a musician and a YouTuber that makes gaming videos. Very low quality, by the way. Why am I going to make a podcast? Well, I'm making a podcast because I find interest in it, and it's something that I want to do. And it's another way to get content out. Good content. And why specifically a comedy podcast? Because it's just more entertaining than all the other ones, obviously. If you watch true crime and the history stuff, you're bland. You're plain. Get a grip. It's 2025. Okay? We have a good amount of segments that we're going to run. My favorite one personally, and really the one that we have for sure implemented, is hot takes, where we're going to be judging our own and eventually your guys' hot takes. Okay? You guys will leave comments on the episodes, and we will discuss your either amazing or very terrible hot takes. Another thing that this podcast is going to be about, we're going to make fun of people, like a lot of people. If that offends you, might as well click away now. And if that does offend you, you're soft. Okay, so the first thing I do want to talk about is my school life, because I've had an interesting first semester. I mean, interesting teachers and interesting people. I start my day when I get to school, and I kind of just walk into the cafeteria to go meet up with people. And I swear, it just gets worse and worse with the school couples. If you're one of those school couples, you disgust me. Okay? And here's why. Because you guys don't need to be full grip and making out in the hallways. It's just gross. Nobody wants to see it. Not in public, okay? Get a room. Another thing is, like, what do you even get out of it? It's just embarrassing, right? I just don't understand what we're doing anymore when it comes to being weird in public. Like, isn't that a whole crime? Isn't that like public indecency or some shit like that? You got to be decent in public. Don't get me wrong. The occasional, like whatever. But I mean, they're like full grip all the way in, eyes closed. They don't even know where they are. I bet it's insane. Yeah, completely insane. I've got not a lot to say about it because it's just stupid. But what I do want to talk about is this teachers, because all of these guys are really old. Well, most of them are really old, and they all have terrible opinions as well. I mean, I'm not here to judge everybody's opinion, because we all know here in America you don't have one. But on this podcast, everybody gets an opinion and everybody gets a say. Until I no-go it, obviously. But, yeah. In America, you don't get opinions. But these guys, they still want to share their opinions. Like my history teacher, for example. This guy, he is very political. And he's very open about having an alcohol addiction or something like that. He's always talking about drinking alcohol. But, yeah, besides that, we're talking about how Gen Z is very soft. And here, don't get me wrong. I totally agree with that. You guys are soft. We can't take jokes. But what he goes on to say is even worse. Because he goes on to talk about how his generation was not soft and how his generation could take jokes and you could do all these kinds of things. Well, fast forward a few days, and we're talking about some stupid challenges. For example, the Tide Pod Challenge. We talked about the Tide Pod Challenge. If you don't know what the Tide Pod Challenge was, it happened like a few weeks ago. That was very bad. It happened a few decades ago. That was wrong too. Okay. I'm very bad at this. This is the first episode. Just don't mind me. It happened like a decade ago. And what you would do is you would eat a Tide Pod. If that sounds stupid to you, it was. If it doesn't, then you're probably an ape. Eat away at the Tide Pods. You do you, but just know that you're going to die. But speaking of Tide Pods, he's talking about it, and we're talking about it. He doesn't know what this challenge is. He's been around long enough he lived through the challenge. How does he not see on the news kids eating Tide Pods and dying, right? Like, this guy's an adult. He should be watching the news. If he doesn't watch the news, then what are you doing? Besides teaching and giving me Fs, right? So yeah, I ask him, like, does he live under a rock? And he does, by the way. He definitely lives under a rock because he doesn't know what's going on in the world unless it happened 50 years ago, which might be why he's a history teacher. So, but besides that, we're talking about the Tide Pod Challenge. Like, you look like you would participate in this challenge. He didn't like that much. Apparently, that was crossing the line for him. If getting told that you eat Tide Pods crosses the line for you, then you are exponentially soft. Like, you're soft enough to where, like, I could fall asleep. Okay? So about 20 minutes later, this guy takes me outside and says he wants to have a little bit of a chat. And, I'm down for a chat. You see me in public, let's go have a chat, as he says. This wasn't any chat, though. He takes me, and the few days before, we were talking about the Laws of Seduction book. And we're telling him he should read it. And he definitely used art number 4 on me because he takes his hand and he, boom, against the wall. At this point, I already feel assaulted. Like, disrespect out the window. What are you doing? Right? And so he's kind of looking at me and he's like, so, you crossed the line. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying not to laugh, and he's asking me about disrespect and that kind of stuff. Why are you so offended that I told you that you would eat Tide Pods? I'm 17. You're like 50. I told you would eat Tide Pods. Laugh about it and get over it. But speaking of teachers, the other day, one of my teachers, he made a seating chart, and don't get me wrong, I hate seating charts too, right? They have to just make them for apparently safety reasons, but I think there's other reasons, like they just want to make a seating chart so that they can make your life hell. That's how I see it. Everything that teachers do, they want to make your life hell. If you're a straight A student, good for you, and I hate you. So he makes a seating chart, and I'm like, yo, why'd you make the seating chart? He says this exactly to me. I rage baited him into making a seating chart. Like, bro, shut the hell up. What are you talking about? And then he makes us put our phones up in this thing. Okay, well, what if there's another shooter, right? I can't text anybody. What am I going to do then? Damn, Mom, come pick up my reboot card. It's bad. It's bad. All bad. But what makes it worse is that he doesn't even care if we get up out of our seats. Everybody's switching seats, but whenever I stand up, it's a problem. It's an exponential crime, like I'm going to get put on death row for getting out of my chair. Terrible. He's a terrible teacher. But while we're on the topic of phones and phones being put up, I want to talk about phone batteries, specifically my phone battery. All right, if you're like me and you like music, you listen to music nonstop, and everything constantly needs charging. My earbuds, my phone, and all that kind of stuff. In the morning, it's at 100%, and then after that, it's not. At the end of the day, it's at like 7, and I can't watch anything while I eat, which is bad because I like to watch videos while I eat. I mean, who doesn't? Everybody watches something when they eat, because who talks to people anymore? 2025, everybody's got their face glued on a screen. If you don't, good for you, and I still hate you. There's a lot of people I hate. But yeah, my phone's always dead. What if it's like a life or death situation? I need to call 911 and my phone just dies. I'm cooked. I'm over. I'm done for. End of my life, Yeah. And I'm going to spin back to schools because I also want to talk about homework. And I don't even know who invented it. I don't even know if I've learned that yet or if we talked about it, but I don't pay attention in class at all. But it's not even like work. It's just like they really expect me to go home and do my classes at home after I already been to school for 8 hours of my day. I only get 24 of those hours. I actually only get 12 of them. And you're going to take 8 of them away from me so that you can go make me learn dumb shit I'm never going to ever use in my life. Like, come on. And it gets even worse when it comes to group projects. Group projects are the worst thing in the entire world. Because you've got people that will just do nothing and just put their name on it and be like, I got an A. No, you didn't. I got an A. You just happened to be there. Right? Okay. Another thing I want to talk about is what the hell is going on with the internet? We're in a very interesting place to where social media is stupid. I never thought that the internet would be a dumb thing because the internet's supposed to know everything. It's supposed to be very, very smart. But no, it's not. It's dumb. And what I mean by dumb is if you scroll, like here, scroll on your For You page right now. Do 4 scrolls. Comment down what you see. All right? Comment down exactly what you've seen. It's something terrible. I'll bet you that in one of those 4 scrolls, you've gotten something stupid. Okay? Let's kill him. Get rid of the stupid memes. Not a fan of them, and it's weird, right? Don't go in the comments and call me TikTok police or Instagram nerd or whatever that is, because I will go down there and I will like your comment and tell you you're right. Okay. Speaking of, we're going to spin back to the topic of content creation because myself, I'm a content creator and I've had a lot of flaws. Actually, before recording this episode, I could not find my microphone cord and I was panicking. And it was right behind me. For about 20 minutes, I searched out like the entire house. It was a whole ordeal. It was a whole thing. But another thing I do is I forget to hit record. And so I'll be doing my thing and I'll do an entire episode and none of it gets recorded. Or my screen recorder will like fail, or the audio won't work, the editor shuts down. I have a lot of issues. Okay. I'm inspired by a lot of people, but also like nobody. You're gonna see my editing style. It's awkward. It's beginner. Okay. But my audio files or my screen recording files are getting saved into the back rooms. I'll be looking for it through my files to hop into the editing phase of making a video, and it just is gone. Non-existent. I'll search for the name of it and all that stuff. It's just not there. It's really, really bad, and I have no clue how to fix it without just re-recording an episode. For example, one time for the gaming channel, that is also half of this channel that is run by me and another co-host. Shout out to Aiden. My man, I like you a lot. Well, pause. Don't take it like that. Yeah, speaking of games, so I had 3 game ideas and they were locked up. I had 3 weeks of content until my screen recorder decided to fail 3 times. And I played the game all the way and I wasn't going to go back and fake reactions because that's bad content. So it's like, oh, damn, I'll move on to the next game. Then it shuts down again and I get no content. Out of that 3-hour recording session, I got 0 content. It's bad. Stupid. And speaking of content creators, while we're on the topic of just content and that kind of stuff, celebrities. I'm going to call them I'm not going to say names. I'm just going to call them celebrities. I will say names later though. Watch to the end and I will definitely be name dropping some people. But celebrities are basically another species. They're not humans. They can be considered maybe a subspecies of humans because they think they can just do whatever the hell they want without any backlash. Like, you can't go on the internet and be racist and think that you're going to get away with it. There's no get out of jail free card in this. You can't just bail out. People are going to see that and people are going to get offended. People are soft, as I said earlier. But like specifically, you've guys probably seen what Kanye West is doing on Twitter. What is he thinking? The greatest artist in the world has decided that he's going to go kamikaze and be extremely racist and talk about Hitler. Come on, man, what are we doing? And then in his song that I won't mention, he says something that we don't understand the things he says on Twitter. Okay, buddy, I'm pretty sure we understand everything you're saying, and well and clear. We've all been to history class. Okay? And this dude getting absolutely flamed, and he still does it. Like, I swear, he is the Twitch moderator's worst nightmare. Elon Musk wakes up, sees one of his tweets, and cries in his Cybertruck. It's bad. It's really bad. And, I mean, the internet's just a bad place in general. Like, if you're 8 years old and listening to this podcast, why? Go outside. Go play with your friends. Or do something productive. You shouldn't be on the internet being exposed to the horrors of what we call Twitter and TikTok and Instagram. Like, for example, we've had a Netflix special by the one and only comedian Matt Rife. And it was a joke. It sounded like a middle school lunch table. It was so bad, in fact, that people were fake laughing at him. And he was still going and he thought it was good. If you're one of those people that try to get laughs out of people, and everybody fake laughs at you and you keep making jokes, and you're the most unfunniest person in the group, just stop, please, for all of our sakes. We don't want to listen to you ramble on and on about however your day went. You're listening to me right now, which is exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, I just mentioned myself. I'm an idiot. Drake decided that he wanted to be a big, bad villain. And he goes on to make some threats and some flex statements. And he didn't sound very intimidating. He sounded like that one villain from Hercules. bland, plain. He just reused everything that everybody else would say when they flex. And it's like the most cringy thing I've ever seen, honestly. And then the worst form of content and the worst things that need to be made are apology videos. If we weren't stupid on the internet, we wouldn't have to make apology videos to begin with, right? But no, we all want to be racist and whatever on the internet. There's a thing called digital footprint, and I advise you that you should probably watch out for it, because I don't call it a footprint. I call it a foot, and it'll come back and kick you right in the ass. What I mean by this is, I don't remember the celebrity's name, but somebody's recently gotten a lot of backlash for saying racial slurs on posts from like 12 years ago. How does that even resurface? If somebody knows that, please tell me. How does that stuff resurface? But yeah, speaking of apology videos, I just want to talk about how scripted they are. I mean, yeah, you're going to script it, but really, you're going to script your apology? Like, if I said something stupid to you and I come up to you and with my pad and paper and I start writing down everything I'm going to say to you, it's not very authentic. Unless it's in 144p, where you're basically a Mario character from the 1964 Atari. Then it is definitely very authentic. Thank you. You see, then I say, yep, thank you for the apology. I don't want to watch this anymore. And then at the end of their apology videos, they start talking about how productive they are and how amazing they are. Shut the hell up. You don't even edit your own videos. Be quiet. You're not productive. You stand there and talk in front of a camera for a few hours and then send it off to your editor. He probably doesn't. He gets paid less than a McDonald's worker. He does a lot for you, okay? Like all the parts where you would need to make apology videos about, he cuts it out for you. Me personally, I wouldn't be cutting it out. You're going to be making a whole apology video playlist, okay? Well, on that note, I'm out of things to talk about. So, I just want to say, for the future of this podcast, I will have a co-host, and the episodes would be way longer than this. This was kind of just an intro to set the tone for what this podcast is about. This is the We Are Different podcast. Follow me, subscribe to me. Wherever you get your podcasts is where I will be. And I will see you in the next episode, hopefully with my very unreliable co-host. Okay? I just want to say, Gen Z is soft, and so are the millennials. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.